Today, we are going to talk about some of the best engine that has been released in Master Duel in 2025. Now, what I consider to be an engine is either one of these two things. It is a series of cards in an archetype that doesn't see play by itself, either because it is too weak or there's just not enough cards, but rather get play in other archetypes to further bolster their strength. Or is a package of cards that are being used to achieve a specific goal. Now, 2025 has been a great year for supporting engines. The first engine of this year is none other than Fiendsmith, arguably one of the strongest engines we have ever seen, ever. Fiendsmith is a series of light fiend monsters that focus on utilizing the graveyard and powerful link monster to facilitate their plays. Released in the Forbidden Liberated on February 6, this pack gives us the core of Fiendsmith, which include Fiendsmith Engraver, Track, Requiem, Sequence, the Creamer, and Desiree. This engine also saw the inclusion of Fable Luri and, most importantly, Moon of the Closed Heaven. Fiendsmith also received a boost in power in Wrath of the Tyrant, released on May 9, with the introduction of Le Prima the Crimson Tier and Fiendsmith in Paradise. Now, Fiendsmith is hand down the best engine of 2025. The amount of output this engine can give you is so high compared to what you need for it, and all you need for it is any light fiend monster on the field, which you can then turn into a Requiem. Then Requiem can go into your deck and fetch any Fiendsmith you want. With the redundancy of summoning that this engine has, you just have so much extra party on the field to go into more plays or more disruption. With the introduction of Crimson Tier, this engine can also have an extra disruption by sending Fiendsmith in Paradise into the graveyard. Now, one big strength about Fiendsmith is that this engine is very flexible because it doesn't have any restriction, and it's also very easy to go into with Moon of the Closed Heaven. So you can either use it to bait out opponent disruption, or you can go into Fiendsmith after you already exhausted your opponent's resources. Also, since Le Prima and Engraver are both level 6 monster, it gives the deck a very easy way to go into a rank 6 Exceed, which may or may not have been a reason for a restriction on Beatrice. Another big strength of Fiendsmith is its recursion power. Because the Fiendsmith card shuffle themselves back into the deck, you basically have infinite grind game. The downside to Fiendsmith? Well, there isn't really one. The best two I can think of is that this package requires a lot of extra deck space, like at least half of it, maybe even more. And the second thing is that Fiendsmith is obviously quite weak to graveyard interaction. I don't know if that really counts as a downside, but I need to write something here. So let's just go with it. Okay, let's move on to the next engine. The Millennium engine. Also released in the Forbidden Liberated, this is a series of Exodia-themed monsters with the gimmick that they can place themselves in the spell and trap zone as continuous spells and then special summon themselves. This engine includes Sengenjin, Wait for a Millennium, Golem that guard the Millennium treasure, Yugioh Temple, and one card that link this engine together, Snake Eye Doom Dragon. What's so good about this engine is that any of these 3 cards will get you all the other pieces, which equate to a bunch of free bodies. With Doom Dragon and Sengenjin both level 8 monster, you can have access to a very powerful rank 8 plays. Not only that, since all of these pieces have such amazing stats, and Doom Dragon has an inbuilt removal, this engine is pretty great going second. Since Yugioh Temple is very good at putting a lot of cards on the field, if you need extra cards to fuel your plays, this engine can give you just that. Well, what's the downside then? Okay, first of all, there's a huge life point cost to activating these cards. It's not much of a downside, but hey, that's why they're in the best list, right? But yeah, sometimes your opponent can get under you because you have less life point, or sometimes you don't have the life point to activate these cards. doesn't happen very often though. One other thing is that this engine is one-time use only, so you can't rely on them on long games. The last engine that saw widespread use this year is the Primite engine. Released in Onslaught of Emperor on April 10th, the Primite is a series of very powerful cards, but require you to run normal monster to use them. The best card in this engine include Primite Dragon Ether Barrel, Primite Lodi Load, and Primite Drill Beam. The use for this engine is pretty simple, to abuse the hell out of Drill Beam. Since Drill Beam can set itself from the grave, it gives the engine a fantastic grind game. Cards like Lodi Load or Primite Roar can help you summon a normal monster in decks that rely on them. One big downside to Primite is that you do need to normal summon your Ether Barrel so that you can recycle the Drill Beam. And even though this deck does synergize with normal monster, sometimes it's still gonna be a brick in your hand and you're gonna go -1 from it. Let's quickly talk about the deck list before we jump into the gameplay. Yes, we are playing all three of the engines in this deck list today: the Fiendsmith card, the Primite card, and the Millennium cards. If this deck list looks familiar, yes, this is basically just Fiendsmith control, but it's just a testament to how strong these engines are, that they can be played in the same deck even without any inherent synergy and still be competitive. To spice up this deck list, I'm playing some extra Primite cards and a copy of Labradorite Dragon. It's a level 6 tuner dragon that can help make Baron, and it has a pretty good stats so that your opponent cannot just battle over it to disable your Drill Beam. Standard extra deck mostly. I don't play any rank 8 though. If you have the Millennium card on the field, it's usually just better to go into Fiendsmith anyway. That's it for the deck list. Let's get into the gameplay.